Hello.
Happy Sunday.
Happy San Lucas.
Yeah, which I only remembered now because Eva said, congratulations in the comments. And I was like, for what?
What do you do to celebrate it?
Nothing.
No.
I forgot. Well, today I had some Japanese food for lunch. And then I tried some of the new beers from our friends at Lausita. So maybe I can pretend that was my special day.
Yeah, I heard we are going to have a new collection of beers from Lausita this week.
The neighborhood beers.
Ooh.
3 neighborhoods with 3 thematic beers. Very, very nice.
I know that.
So yeah, that's got nothing to do with wine, but anyway.
By the way, the Lausita is a beer bar close to the shop in Cava Baja, and they are very good friends of us.
British.
We sell their beer. Sometimes we do tastings in their place, and well, we love to collaborate each other. We love each other. we love
each other. Yeah, and it's quite nice for me because it's we have a couple of British people with a craft beer bar. What the hell are you doing?
Okay. Yes. Oh.
Are you going to sleep or something? We've got a couple of British guys with a beer bar. We've got a British guy with a wine shop. There's a British girl with a brunch bar. We're taking over the city.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's quite nice.
Well, welcome everybody.
What is this? It's pink.
Oh my God! Is that a mistake?
Is it summer still? What the hell are you doing? You've lost control, man.
Well, it's a very special rosé from Jumilla. We are back to Jumilla. We were
That's a lot. That's a
the
good.
last box.
That's a good view. That.
Yes.
You're just not in it anymore.
We visited Jumilla last box with the Viñas Bastardas. It was not an official Jumilla DO.
Same area, more or less.
Close to, but now we are officially back to Jumilla, and with a very special wine that is only produced once every 2 years.
Yeah, it's very kind of mythical, and they don't tell us why. It's like every 2 years we produce the Juan Gil Rosé. It's like why, and they don't tell you. So it's quite a rare wine. There are 2 grapes in it, which we'll talk about shortly. I don't think Jumilla is not usually famous for rosés.
No, Jumilla is famous for the reds.
Before we carry on, before we move on, when you apparently are Spanish, so I've heard, when you as a Spanish person think
Well,
of...
I'm from Murcia.
True, you wish you were Spanish. When you think Spanish rosé, what regions come to mind?
Well, regions from the north, Navarra, Cigales, yeah, these areas. Catalonia has excellent rosés.
The famous ones are probably
Rioja has excellent
Navarra,
rosé. Yeah.
Cigales.
Yeah.
Now, in your experience, when you were growing up, you know, when you were born in the 1920s, whenever it was.
At the same time, Juan Gil.
Yes. 1916, 1970.
We are related.
Were you growing up in this area? Did you notice people drinking rosé?
No. In Spain, rosé, I think, is considered like a second-class wine. Unfortunately.
And especially in an area like Jumilla when it's not.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about rosé more today. Before we start going into this, we have to do our normal processes.
Yes.
First of all, we have a bottle of wine here. If you're watching with this wine, we want you to take a goddamn photo of your wine tasting. Maybe with you in the bottle like this.
Mention us, and you will be in a contest.
To win, fun fact, another rosé. So, if you tag
This
us...
is a beautiful Pinot Noir from Valencia, from Hispanos Suizas Winery. This is a Magnum bottle.
That's enough for a brunch with 2 people. So if you take a photo of yourself at Madrid Daracot using our Instagram handle, I think they call it, we will then at the end of the month tally them all up, do a picking out the hat thing.
Do you know what Winston Churchill used to say about Magnum bottles?
No.
Magnum bottle is the perfect bottle size to bring to a meeting with another person, especially if that person doesn't like wine.
He was very funny. My favourite story, we'll get into the wine in a minute, my favourite anecdote of Winston Churchill was he was in the Houses of Parliament for Prime Minister's Questions, which is every Wednesday at, I think, 12 o'clock. The ministers basically go, rah, 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 they shout at each other. And somebody in the opposition party said, "Winston Churchill, sir," some lady, "you are drunk. You are here in Parliament drunk, sir. It is an outrage." And he basically was like, "I may be drunk, but you're ugly. And in the morning, I won't be drunk anymore." It's very cool, but that man had a zinging wit.
Back to wine.
Back to wine. Yeah, you could talk. We could do a whole podcast about Winston Churchill. So anyway, so let's get our sheet and go through our sheet with this rosé.
And of course, subscribe, like, blah blah blah.
Tell us. Tell your grandparents.
Press the bell.
Whatever.
Okay, well, let's. So we are trying Juan Gil Rosé.
Sure, you go.
Okay, when you write rosé, if you can write rosado in Spanish, but if you write rosé, please do not forget the accent over the e, like.
Who was it?
It was Rosé.
Do you remember which company?
Yes, I remember.
So they came in. I won't say the name. But it was a really nice rose. Wine.
Yeah. They wrote rose wine, and it's not rose wine.
And the look on the guy's face when I said, "You need the accent on the e." He's like, "Eh?" I was like, "That's rose, which is a flower." He was like, "Oh, es verdad." Ooh, crap. I was like, "This is vino de rosa, not rosado."
Especially after labeling 2,000 bottles.
Can I just say, my dad says champagne should be dry, cold, and free. Just like the United Kingdom.
Actually, one of my things to do in the next month is to bring the Winston Churchill champagne to the shop. Actually, the top of Port Roger's champagne is called the Winston Churchill.
That's good. And I don't really like champagne.
Back to wine.
Oh, God, yes. Everyone, be quiet.
So, Juan Gil Rosé with the accent. Vintage.
2019.
2019.
Nice and young.
Yes. So remember, these wines are only made once every 2 years, and it's very rare to find them in shops. They are especially made for restaurants, good restaurants, but it's not very common to see them in shops.
They handpick the best shops.
Because we are very good friends of Juan Gil.
Apparently from Transylvania. We are very good friends. Jesus.
We have the privilege to have it
Sunday
here.
night madness.
Grapes. Well, this is a blend of two grapes, Tempranillo and Syrah.
Which is strange.
Yes, because coming from Jumilla, it could be other grapes, probably more Monastrell.
That's what I found
That could be the natural rosé.
Because the winery we did last box, Casa Rojo, their rosé is Monastrell and Syrah.
Yeah.
This is Tempranillo and Syrah. So obviously Syrah seems to work quite well down
There's
there.
not a lot of Tempranillo in Jumilla.
No,
And that's probably makes this wine even more special.
Yeah. So you feel lucky.
No. So this is the blend. I don't know the proportions.
The problem with Juan Gil is there's a nice expression, I'm sure you know it. They keep their cards very close to their chest. So it's quite hard to find a lot of really detailed information. You can find the normal stuff, the grapes, how they make it, and blah, blah, blah. But they don't give you the proportions. I would imagine, because of the smell, in my limited experience, it's probably a bit more Tempranillo because it has that lovely strawberry bomb note. But we'll see. We'll ask.
Probably yes. Alcohol content 13, which is
pretty stocky, pretty good. Yeah.
Producer Juan Gil.
Johnny Gil.
Juan Gil is the name of the winery, and the name of the group behind is Gil Family Estates, which is huge.
Yeah. So
they have projects all over Spain.
Should we talk about that now, or should we wait until later?
We can advance a little bit.
So Juan Gil, if there's any Americans watching, you may know Juan Gil. Some of the more affordable, the younger red wines can be quite easily found in America. I watched a video last week because I don't have a life. It was a Korean guy who lives in in California, and he does blind tastings.
Oh yeah, with
Two masters of wine.
two masters of wine. One of them was the one who made the blind tasting of Vega Sicilia, and he said
Was
it was
it?
a Cabernet Sauvignon from the New World.
Well, I won't say anything more. But they did a tasting of master of wine. They did a tasting of affordable wines, like under $10 or under $15, and they had the Juan Gil
Dollars.
under $15. America. They did. It was the silver label, and they had 9 wines from 9 different countries. And what was the most popular? Obviously, because you can find it quite easily there.
Yeah.
But these ones, no. But Juan Gil, they have their Jumilla wines. Then they have a sort of affiliated bodega. This is the classic one. Look at that, beautiful wine, textbook monastrell. Maybe a little bit boring for us now because we know it so well. You love their white wine that you put on every single tasting. Yeah, you go the Moscatel Secco. That's the old label. Beautiful, beautiful wine. But they also have.
Your mother loves it.
Yeah, my mum really likes that wine. She probably won't remember it, but she did like it. If you're watching, you love that wine. And that's it. That's finished. End of story. The affiliated winery there is called Bodegas Nido.
Oh, yeah.
And they make a wine called Clio, which is essentially perfect. Yeah. And then they make a wine which is about 120 euros called El Nido, which is perfect.
We will have them here in the shop in November. They are probably coming in November. Guys, I mean, if you have the chance to try Clio, you should. I mean, that wine is, what's the, it's a 4.6, 4.7 in Vivino.
4.5, 4.6.
But El Nido is 4.8.
Yeah, El Nido is like, have you ever heard of perfection? It's also expensive, but I mean, it must be the most transient.
Well, Clio is not that expensive. It's 38. Yeah.
For what you're getting, it's very good.
Yeah, but El Nido is 120, 30.
I think it was 136.
Okay.
If I remember from last year. But it sold because they only gave us 2 bottles.
Yes.
Because there were only 2 bottles left. So this is like the Jumilla project. They have other ones. Maybe we can talk about them later. But 1916, Juan Gil Jimenez. Perfect coronavirus time name. 1916, they start this winery in Jumilla, and then they're very much the driving force, I think, of the traditional side of Jumilla, maybe. Yeah. So,
the region Jumilla, as
Jumilla.
We have been talking about Jumilla a lot of times. We will recap the main facts of the region.
Roque's favorite facts. Yeah. How many bottles are made every year?
I love it.
Where the hell
but
is
anyway,
it?
yes, it's in the interior of Murcia region, but it's very close to Alicante as well.
You were born near there, right?
And yes, and it takes the name from the little town Jumilla. But it happens that more actors are located in the next province, in Albacete. So yeah. So it's not a 100% Murcia wine.
Do you think the Murcians think of it as a Murcian region?
Yes.
Even though most of it is in La Mancha?
Yes. I think they think. I think they think.
I think they think that they think.
The region corresponds to the municipality of Jumilla, and that's all. But that's something. It's not a mistake of only Murcia people. I think a lot of people think Rioja belongs to Rioja region, but Rioja goes farther, and it happens with a lot of wine regions.
I would love to talk to, because I don't think we've tried many. I would love to talk to the Manchego Jumilla people and see what they think. If they're like, bloody Murcians, most of it's here, you know. We should try and find a Manchegan Jumilla wine. That's going to be my new.
Yeah. Very close to Alman. I mean,
but if the majority is in the neighbouring comunidad, that's like saying, this is an English wine, and most of it is in Wales. You know? And the Welsh are going, screw you, it's Welsh. You know, that's my homework.
Well, let's try it.
So,
color. We should talk about colors in rosé. What is a rosé, Darakat?
It's.
Please give us light. Please.
Shall I talk about how to make rosé, or shall I save that?
Please explain to us.
Okay.
Because I mean, rosé is everything about color.
Everyone's strapping. So, God, I'm so fat now. So, I just moved. I was like, oh God. Oh yeah, actually, that's good. We'll save that photo for a minute. That's a good one. So, rosé, beautiful rosé, the most attractive, beautiful, soothing, Instagrammable style of wine. It's pink, but different types of pink. You can have very pale, you can have very strong, you can have this one which is kind of like quite a dark rose, well, salmony pink kind of colour. Before we talk about the different types, and we have different examples in the shop we can show you because we're very well prepared. First things first, how the hell do you make a rosé wine? Well, first of all, you have to start with red grapes. Now, I'll explain in a minute that you can have some white grapes, but you have to start with something red. So, first things first, the classic method is called macération, the maceration method, wherein you take some red grapes, you squish them up, you let the skins colour the liquid for X amount of time. So I think this is what is shown here.
It's beautifully explained here.
That's
because
nice,
the longer you leave the juice in contact with the skins, the deeper is going to be the color.
And probably more intense the aromas. So there was a myth that is kind of annoying, which is pale wines, pale rosés are better, which is not true. It just so happens that Provence, which is probably the world's premier rosé region, happens to make very pale rosés, and therefore people sort of think pale means better. So if you look on the left of this diagram, you will see two quite pale ones, and that's because basically the skins have been left in contact with the juice for less time. In Spain, traditionally we like to macerate the skins for a bit longer. You get a bit more colour, you get a bit more aromatic punch maybe. You tend to get maybe more red fruits instead of floral, let's say, for example. So that's and then you take the skins out, of course, and then you ferment the juice as if it were a white wine. So that's the maceration method. The other principal method, which you might see, is called in French, saigner, which in Spanish is sangrado, which sounds cool. In English, bleeding, which doesn't sound very nice. And that is when you start, my wine is bleeding. And that's when you start to make a red wine in a tank, and maybe after a couple of days you just let some of it run off. So it's not become red wine yet, it's sort of pink juice that is starting to become wine, and then you can finish that off as rosé. Those are two main methods. There are other things where you can co-ferment red and white wine, which in Spain they call
clarete.
You're like, I was not listening. I was having my little timeout, like.
No.
Sorry.
Clarete.
Clarete. So.
No, I was thinking if my answer was going to be the right one.
You're like, white wine? No, Rocky. I'm sorry. Clarete, which we have.
It's a blend of red.
Yeah, we have two in the shop, and that's when they ferment red and white wines together. You can blend red and white wine, and that's how you make. I believe the correct word is crap rosé, but you don't find those really in decent shops. So those are kind of the main methods.
Well, we have here different. Well, this is the Magnum.
We could
this
call
is
that
the
maybe. These two are kind of.
This is super pale, actually. It's almost white.
It's like an English person on the Costa del Sol. Very, very pale.
Then it would be this one. But this is quite.
Your
pink.
shirt is the same color as the wine, so maybe I should do it with my shirt. Hang on.
But this is what they call onion
skin.
Onion skin.
This is a very strange shot.
This is from El Duero.
Through it.
Lands of Navarra, we have Son Rojo, which it's almost red.
So that is the old school Spanish system. Garnachas and Tempranillos, very, very dark. I love them because they tend to smell like they've exploded with strawberries and raspberries. If you want to think of like a rule of thumb, the really pale ones tend to be more elegant, more lighter, and tend to have more like flowers and herbs and stuff, whereas the darker ones are more like fruit. And I love rosé. It is hopefully not too critical of me to say that in the world of the three main wines, red, white, and rosé, rosés are arguably, and this is corroborated by masters of wine, it's not me being are a bit less complex than their neighbours because of the way they're made. Generally, I would say 95% of winemakers, when they make rosé, are trying to make something fresh and young and so nice. We have a few examples in Spain, for example. My parents will remember we went to Viña Tondonia, López de Heredia. They have a Gran Reserva, like a 20-year Gran Reserva aged rosé. It's like, what is this? But generally speaking, with rosés, we're not looking for the same depth as a red. That's not the point, because also people won't buy them. There are some funky things, but yeah.
It's something that's linked to summertime. In South France, they have it with ice. I've done it, and it's not bad.
It's disgusting, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Quick question: if you don't let any pretentious tell you,
it's not pretentious
how
to say,
you should drink.
It's not
wine.
pretentious to say.
Drink it as you want.
But if you put ice in it, you're a dick. Don't put ice in your wine. It's just disgusting. Hey, I spent months crafting this beautiful drink. Feel free to put water in it. What are you doing? You should be ashamed of yourself. Couple of questions. It really annoys me. Sandy, time for skins to be removed. So, the really pale ones that Roque showed you, in a couple of hours, like the Rosalito, a couple of hours, you just sort of letting it kiss the juice, basically. And I would say Son Rojo is probably like 7 or 8.
We have a Rosado de una noche.
Ah, yeah, it's good.
That is around 8 hours?
Yeah, about 8 hours. And that you'll see here, it's got a classic Spanish colour. Here we go.
This is what you get after 8 hours.
Yeah, so the classic Spanish, lovely, pinky cherry style of rosé. That's about 8 hours. At what point is it considered red wine? Well, when you finish fermenting all the juice and the skins together, that's red wine. If you let some of the liquid come off before it's become, fermented alcohol, that's not wine yet. In general, that would be called, in Spanish, it'd be called mosto, the must. That's just the juice, basically. Right, where are we? Into aromas.
Yeah, and also, excuse me, one more thing. Depending also of the in the grape.
Oh, true. Yes.
You can have different levels of inkiness.
Different levels of inkiness, not kinkiness, kinkiness.
So it happens. For example, Syrah tends to ink more the wine than Garnacha, for example. As we can see here.
I would say this one, by the way, this little list. Remember, in Spain we would be doing different grapes, so the Garnacha in Spain would be darker. But yeah, that's a good point. So if your grape is a heavy, big grape with thick skins, then yeah, your rosé will have a bit more colour. So I would imagine a Monastrell. I've never 100% Monastrell. I've never seen. I don't think
we have 100% Monastrell sparkling.
Yes,
rosé.
And it's very red.
And it's very
because
red.
they've got very thick skins. That will give you, impart more flavour, basically.
Well, so intensity of the color.
Not intense.
Not very intense.
Well, it depends how you define it. It's quite hard to define intensity for rosé. It's not a deep color, but it's still quite, how to put it? It doesn't fade too much.
Yep.
But yeah.
And clarity.
No crap in the glass. Fantastic.
I have crap in my glass.
Well, you opened it very badly then. Oh my god, it comes with cork in it. It's so nice. Right, what can you smell?
Let's smell it. It's very fruity. Cherries, blueberries.
There's a lot of cherries.
It has 4 months in oak.
Yeah, this is weird. As in, this is... it's not common to find oak in rosés, and often, if you do, they've done the whole thing. It's been fermented in barrels, this kind of vibe. The Juan Gil team, they allow it to rest, and everything gets to intermingle together for 4 months in French oak. Now, I don't know if it's used oak or not, because it doesn't smell oaky.
No, it gives us some creamy notes,
But it is
not
definitely
very strong.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of.
Peach, apricot.
There's a thing in England which will mean nothing to you, but if there's any English watching, we have these yogurts called Petit Felu or Froobs, and it reminds me a little bit of raspberry yogurt, or like apricot or peach yogurt.
Yeah.
It's actually quite for a fruity rosé. There's no floral here. For a fruity rosé, it's got quite a lot of different fruits.
What do you get, guys? What's your opinion about the aromas?
If anyone has this wine, Dad, what can you smell? Well, I can imagine it smells of red grapes. But yeah, I have to say, I do like the smell of rosé. If there's any wine which smells of summer,
Yeah.
it's a Spanish rosé. That lovely, like, it smells of fresh berries and this kind of stuff.
I agree with you.
It is very nice, and at a barbecue, it's very appealing.
You think it's a complex? It's not a complex wine.
Not super complex, but because most rosés in Spain are not very complex in general. Most rosés, there's this master of wine did a really nice compliment. He's like, if red wines are 1 to 10 on the possible complexity scale, and whites are 1 to 8, rosés are 1 to 4. It's not an insult to rosés, but you just don't find that many different styles of rosés, and within that you don't necessarily find crazy complex wines, because it's not the point of the wine. Almost, we've seen a couple of these funky barrel rosés, but they don't sell. The market doesn't want these kind of wines. So generally with rosés, you're not looking for, oh my god, is that unicorn tears?
This year has been a very good year for wine, for rosé.
Insane year.
Yeah. We have sold more rosé than ever.
Yeah.
And
I think part of it is because Spain's really stepping up their game with rosé.
also, we did a good job. We made a nice selection of rosés in the shop.
And you did a nice thing in the window.
Yeah.
Obviously. Right, shut up. Let's have a drink.
Yeah, let's. It's clear, crispy.
You know what I like about this? It has something which a lot of rosés, especially in Spain, don't have. It has really good acidity.
Yeah,
But like
it's
really,
especially good for eating.
Yeah.
I think it's a good marketing idea to focus the marketing of this wine, especially for restaurants, because it's especially good for eating with it.
Yeah, this has got a lot.
And I mean,
It's quite big.
salads. Well, we would talk about
Salads. Get out. No one pairs with a salad.
I mean,
Russian
nice
salad.
Nice.
Ooh, this with Russian salad actually would work.
Yes, it would work.
I'm still
Any kind
waiting
of
for
fish,
my
pastas, cheese.
I'm still waiting for my Tupperware. We'll talk about the food in a minute.
Got it.
What does
I get an orange taste in the end. Orange peel.
also what I like about this is it's not like
Don't you find the orange? There isn't like an orange peel taste.
yeah, it's got a little bit of the bitterness of an orange or
Yeah. Yeah.
What I like about this is
Love it.
it's not just it's fruity. It's good.
Yeah.
And it's also, can you show the screen so I can line it up? This is fantastic. For those of you at home wondering, does this come with bacon? No, it's vegan friendly. So for those of you who don't know what that means, they don't use any animal products when they're clarifying and getting all the bits of yeast and skins out. So it's also really good for vegans. No bacon here. Hang on, wait. None at all.
It has bacon color.
So yes, finish not long.
Not long.
But longer than, like I said, longer than I was expecting. It's got, if you do
Balanced, perfectly balanced.
it's got, yeah.
I think this could be a perfect barbecue rosé.
Yeah. Oh, this with some like
Barbecue picnic rosé.
If you have like smoky barbecue ribs or a hamburger with ketchup, because this is an interesting thing for me personally. I love crap food, as in like fast food or whatever, or not. This is a lasagna I've cooked for 12 days with wines. One of the hardest things, not hardest, but one of the trickier dishes, which are so common to pair with wine, is things like a hamburger. Because you think, oh, it's a hamburger. Now in Spain, your hamburgers are a bit different. In America and Britain, there's often lots of very sweet sauces like ketchup and barbecue. And this will cut through the fattiness of the burger. It will cut through the fattiness inherent and saltiness in the sauce, but also those sort of fruity notes will go with those kind of barbecue-y sweet sauces that we always put. I'm actually quite impressed. Not that I wasn't going to be
Temperature. Price. It's
10 something.
10 something.
I think this is the cheapest one in the box.
Yeah.
This month.
10 something.
I mean, rosés in Spain are
Tend to be cheap.
the most expensive, apart from the fancy Viña Dononia. Apart from that one, which is not
The
rosé
average
wine.
price is around 10 euros. 10, 11,
And the most expensive we have is 18.
18, yeah.
So if you like rosé, you're in the right country. It's not expensive here.
Yeah. Suggested glass. Well, I could go for the third one. You use a bowl.
I drink my rosé out of a mug every morning with my
My
cornflakes.
dog's drinking bowl. Wow. But no, I mean,
Well, of course I do, because I also have my bowl for my
don't
breakfast.
lose your elegance and use the third glass.
So hang on, you're saying I am pretentious, and you're saying, listen, people, don't forget to get your rosé glass, okay? You ridiculous man, right? Nice and cold, and yeah, I'm actually very impressed.
Cold as a white.
Yeah.
I would say yes.
I think rosés they benefit from being lovely and crisp and cold. Yeah.
Well, I want to recap a little bit of information about the winery, Juan Gil.
Juan Gil. Let me tell you about Juan Gil, guys.
Juan Gil is dead. I mean, Juan Gil.
he's very dead.
Someone expects someone called Juan Gil.
Hey, is Juan here?
Juan Gil.
He is. He's buried in the vineyard.
The winery celebrated its 100 years a few years ago.
This is old.
So yeah, we have like a huge generation. Juan Gil Jimenez built the winery in 1916. So
Really bad year for the rest of us in Europe.
not that bad.
Juan Gil's going, okay, what, the Somme? What is that? I don't even know. I made this lovely winery.
But yes, we have a lot of 3-4 generations. Now it's the fourth generation.
Family
now.
run.
There are two brothers, Miguel and Angel, something like that.
Lots of h's.
All of them Gil. But there have been 3 Juan Gils: Juan Gil Jimenez, Guerrero, and González.
They're cool names. Guerrero is my favorite Spanish name. Guerrero,
yeah, so
warrior.
they've been making wine always. It has been a family winery located in Jumilla, but now the project Gil Family Estates owns wineries all over Spain. Calatayud, Campo de Borja, in Castilla León, in Camblao, in Montsant. They have a project in Rías Baixas as well.
I was trying to push them to do something in Madrid, but not yet.
Well, yeah. But
this is something which is actually happening a lot in Spain, which I love, which is you have a family or a famous winemaker, and they want to reinvest their money because they're
in
other
different wine
regions, they
regions.
love wine, and it's quite like Telma Rodriguez.
What I like, yes, exactly, and what I like of this is that they can transplant their character, their style to other wine regions, to other different grapes and styles of wine.
So I think it's fair to say Juan Gil has a style which I like, which is
yes, Juan Gil is not a light wine.
Juan Gil wines often are like 15 and a half, 16% alcohol.
They have very good prices. They have good levels of alcohol.
Yes.
They tend to be strong, powerful, full body wines, and they have made a very good job exporting their wines especially to
America.
the US.
Yeah.
Actually, one of their wines, Honor Rivera, was the wine of the Oscars party 2013.
Yeah.
So
Brad Pitt was drinking this garnacha from Calatayud.
and Meryl Streep was a little bit tipsy with it.
Is it from Napa Valley? Shut up, Streep. It's from Spain.
So, and it's one of the wines of the Juan Gil project in Calatayud.
Actually, possibly one of the most delicate and easy wines they have.
Yes.
Because the next one up is like...
They are not ready for the other ones.
These Hollywood glitterati are not ready for Juan Gil.
So it's great to have one of our wines all over the world, and knowing that their wines are good and the image they are giving of us is good, and they are not sporting crap.
Yeah, I think another thing which I love about Juan Gil, because there's lots, of course, in Spain we're a wine country, so you have lots of stories of these family-run bodegas who've been here since 18, blah, blah, and they've never changed. Así lo hacemos, we always do the same.
Yeah.
Juan Gil has always been very innovative, very forward-thinking, always new technologies. They're not like, no, this is how we always do it. They're actually they're really good at thinking outside the box. So I'm sure, now I'm speaking out of my own opinions here, I'm sure there are some people maybe in Jumilla who are like, oh, bloody Juan Gil.
Sorry, we are forgetting completely all the projects in Almansa.
Oh yeah.
Atalaya del Camino.
If you like being punched in the face by some sexy wines.
Yeah, these wines are probably one since the first day permanently in the shop. They always are in the shop because
I mean the white wines are
it's the
best-selling.
yes. It's the kind of wine that we always try to have because it's easy to sell, it's easy to drink, it's good quality, it's good price, so it's the perfect wine for a
tick all the boxes.
yeah, it's the perfect wine for a wine shop. If you plan to open a wine shop,
Juan Gil.
Juan Gil.
Now, this wine comes from Jumilla.
Jumilla.
Now,
Yes.
we have-
What do you want to know about Jumilla?
We've talked about
Look, Tarakot, I know everything about Jumilla.
All right, I have nothing else to say. Jumilla, now we have talked about this before, so this might be similar, but we haven't talked about the Jumilla. We've talked about the climate.
Yeah.
It is hot and dry, of course.
Yes.
But given that you're from there, maybe you can give us a personal opinion of Jumilla.
Yes. Well, there are drier parts of Jumilla, precisely Juan Gil winery is located in one of the driest parts.
But beautiful. Do we have
They don't almost have rain in the whole year.
Tenemos una foto de la bodega, no?
Yes, we do have.
'Cause the
picture.
bodega is-
Of course, someone is doing this job.
The winery is beautiful. I think. Do you have the famous photo? Hang on.
Well, I have. Well, this is the. Give me a second. This is the interior.
Oh, cool.
It's beautiful.
That's really cool, isn't it? That reminds you of Jerez.
Yeah. And
Look at that.
yeah, this is the winery.
It looks like the Wild West.
Yeah, it looks like a wine.
Hey there, you come here from wine?
Yeah,
That's cool, man. Yeah, it's super. This is the super dry part. Which is probably how they get such intensity in their wines, because these wines. That's the photo I love. Yeah, that's my favorite one. Oh, guys, wait until you see this.
Yeah, as you can see, it's very
not
dry.
that one.
It is very dry.
That's so dry.
It's so
This
dry.
is the one. I love this photo. How beautiful is that? That is obscenely beautiful. Oh, I want to go there now. I don't want to be stuck in Madrid with the coronavirus. I want to go down there. But yeah, this is where we're talking about when I make my jokes about Jumilla is Tatooine. I'm referring to this part where it's just, oh yeah, we have one day a year where it rains for half an hour. Like, what?
Yes, it's very dry.
So all the grapes are just sitting there bathing in this hot sunlight.
when we went, it was not that dry, right?
No,
remember.
if you see some of my photos, so Casa Rojo's winery, no. But if you see my photos from that winery out across the valley, it is drier than my sense of humor, drier than my love life.
Well, it's a mix of continental and Mediterranean weather, but it's it's very arid.
Yeah.
And it has the rainfall is so low, so it's like that's the success of Jumilla wines. Their character comes from precisely this
climate.
weather.
Yeah.
The varieties of grapes, the king of the grapes there is Monastrell.
I've got a fun quote about Monastrell. Don't do that. Oh God! Stop interrupting me with really interesting comments.
Okay, go ahead.
So, it's really hard to work with
Go
people.
ahead.
It's really hard to work with people from
Stop,
Murcia.
I mean, you're losing your
No,
turn.
I'm wasting their time, and my time, and your time. So, there was a wine writer, I believe it was Oz Clarke, who is...
Have you finished? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
This is going to go straight into your neck. Now, Oz Clarke said Monastrell. I don't think it was Jancis Robinson. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was Oz Clarke. He said Monastrell. Oh no, maybe it was Jancis Robinson. Anyway, Monastrell, the grape, likes its face in the sun and its feet in the water, which means it loves your area. It's just like burn me all day, you know. And then, but it goes down deep to get to the water, which gives you the intensity. It likes its face in the sun, but its feet in the water. It's quite nice.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Well, as I was saying before, I was terribly interrupted.
Rudely interrupted.
Rudely interrupted. The Monastrell grape is the main. That's what we were expecting, a Monastrell Rosé coming from Juan Gil, but no. But also we have garnachas, Garnacha Tintorera. I uploaded a beautiful video of Garnacha Tintorera to our Instagram a few days ago, and I will. Yes, the guy is squeezing.
Yeah, that's really good.
The guy is squeezing the different grapes.
That's
But
on the
Cabernet
OG.
Sauvignon, Petit Verdot, Syrah, and Aiden and Macabeo is the queens of the whites. It's very productive. We are talking about one of the biggest wine regions, 47 million liters of wine.
It's a big boy.
And as we are saying, mainly, around 65% of the production goes abroad. Only the 35% remains here in the country. So yeah, it's a very international wine
Now,
region.
I imagine 64% of that goes
It's
to
not
America.
difficult to find it in the US, for example. Actually, a lot of Americans visit us during the year, and they recognize the bottle of Juan Gil. They say, "Oh, I have that. I know."
Visited.
Visited, yes. Please.
Come back, America.
Scientifics of the world, please hurry up.
Anyone there? Can someone do something? But they'd be like, "Oh, you got."
Are you going to take the vaccine?
Yeah,
I will
I'll drink a liter.
stick it in my
Right,
heart.
I'll be like, "Is this the vaccine?" I want to go home.
Yes.
But yeah.
So, in numbers of wineries, only 48 wineries.
Which
So,
that for me,
so they're very productive.
that for me is the most. The two most impressive facts are the fact that only 35% of Jumilla, which is an old denominación de origen, I think it's from the 60s or
Yep.
even earlier.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's very old.
we
It's
should-
one of the oldest.
We should probably check that. Anyway.
But it's it comes from the 60s, 64 or something.
And 35% only is in Spain. For me, that is a big thing. If it was a random, weird, remote region, that's one thing. But this is Jumilla, this is an old-fashioned one, and most of it is gone. And the second thing, I think, is, what was the number of, it was a huge, 40 million...
47 million liters.
And only 48 wineries. Madrid has basically the same number of wineries as Jumilla.
And the production is much lower.
That is, for me, very impressive, which means there are some big boys.
Yeah.
I don't know who they are. I'm not going to name names. But someone there is making of wine.
Yeah. One of them is García Carrión.
Never heard of him.
No? Oh, they make a wine called Don Simón.
Is that Jumilla?
Well, it's located there.
Is it?
No, but it's not those. I'm pretty sure those numbers are not.
No, they're not counted.
They don't count. But they make wines for the Jumilla.
I thought it was La Mancha Don Simón. And that's
They have all over the world, but
Don Simón is from Murcia.
García Carrión. Yeah.
Oh God! And there's also Sierra de Gredos. By the way, this
Yes.
is if you want a Tetra Brick 1 liter carton of wine.
But there are big ones. I mean, García, this one, Castillo, Casa Castillo, is a big one.
Yeah, big one.
Carcelo,
But Carcello is not a big one.
Carcello is
Not
not a
millions
small
of-
one.
not
Luzon,
But we're not. But those aren't millions of litre levels.
Casa de la Ermita. We have a lot of them.
But they're not big. Not 48.
They're very
millions.
productive. Very productive.
But maybe it's the Carrion people. I will investigate because that is a lot of millions for only 48 wineries.
Well, I'm pretty sure Juan Gil makes a
Yeah.
good part of that.
They're quite productive. It's not mass produced. It's not industrial, but it is quite productive.
Yeah, it's very productive.
But then remember, they with all these wineries, as you go up the pyramid, the production gets smaller.
Actually, we are planning a trip, one of our excursions to
It's gonna be
Jumilla.
so good.
It's going to be a 2 days experience. We are going to visit 2 wineries with 2 beautiful
Guests, hosts.
hosts and 2 beautiful paired dinners and lunch.
Yeah.
It's going to be beautiful.
It's gonna be
and-
ridiculous.
And it's a great opportunity to visit a quite isolated wine region. It's not easy to get there. It's far from everywhere.
They're far from everywhere in civilization.
Yes.
Because first of all, so I've been here. Okay, if you've ever seen Tatooine in Star Wars, it's like this. Jumilla is already quite a remote little farming town. All of the wineries are in a selection of these little valleys. So your sister, who is part of our visit, is in the Valle del Carche. I don't think there's
second
any... Your second cousin, sorry, what did I say?
My sister. Someone is listening.
Good Lord, I've had too much of this rosé. Eva makes wine now. All the wine that we send her, she's reselling. So, your second cousin, sorry, is in the Valle del Carche, and that, I'm pretty sure that winery, there's no towns, there's no buses, so this is remote, which makes our experience obviously more special, whatever. And then your cousin has like a gastro pairing restaurant, all this kind of stuff, and then Casa Rojo, who you will remember,
Yes.
have this incredible big patio looking out across like this like vineyards going up into
It's like a
mountains.
terrace.
Where you can have
Yeah.
food and drinks. It's going to be freaking nuts. I think when we go, we should both go for that.
Please.
Not like, oh, no, you can stay in the shop, I'll go. What? No. Because Jumilla, even though Jumilla, this part of Murcia is very dry, it is like all parts of the world, as soon as you introduced vineyards, it becomes incredibly beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, do we have any
Come on.
questions? I don't think we have any questions this week. Has anyone got any questions? Sandy, Nina, I was going to say Brian, Dad, Eva, any questions?
Okay. So, what else? I think we have.
We've done a pretty. I think we've done a pretty good job.
Yes.
And if you don't agree, you can shut up.
Well, the next
Where's the next
meeting
one?
is going to be on Wednesday. We are going to have 50 Veronas. We are going to try a beautiful red wine from Cigales.
The Forgotten Ribera.
The Forgotten Ribera, yes. It's, Cigales is very close to Ribera del Duero. It has the same style. It's different, but beautiful reds. Especially, they are specialized in rosés as well. But we are going to try it.
I have to interrupt you. We actually have questions.
Okay, sorry.
Nina, you mentioned a project called Clio. Did I spell that correctly? You did, and we did.
Yes, CLIO, Clio.
This is like a sub-project of Juan Gil, right?
Well, it's another winery.
It's another
actually.
wine, but it's like Lithinia and Moose.
Yeah,
It's like the same area, but it's like
Bodegas
a
El
side
Nido, and they have 2 wines, El Nido and Clio.
Clio.
Clio is around. It was last year. We don't know yet how much it's going to be this year, but 38. It was 38 euros. And it was. I mean, it's a wine that you will never forget.
Dad, if you're still watching and you haven't gone to bed because you're bored, this is the wine you actually left a comment on my photo of it. And you went, "Oh, that sounds really nice. Maybe I'll get some bottles of that. How much is it?" And I said, "It's 38." And you were like, "Oh, maybe for a special occasion." Fabio, why do they release this wine every 2 years? We don't know.
Yes.
Maybe
Maybe they use the grapes for other projects. We don't know, but
is
they
it-
only make it for every 2 years.
maybe it's to kind of keep
that's a
it
fact.
special. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know to be honest. I got nothing. I don't know why. It's a good question.
And I
We asked
don't
ourselves
find
that.
a reason.
There's no
So,
reason for
yeah.
it. Good answer. Shut up, Fabi. Well, at least we didn't lie. It's because Tempranillo only grows every 2 years.
That would be fun.
They leave the fields fallow for 1 year.
Well,
but yeah.
thank you very much for being there. Thank you very much for give us a like. At the moment, only 2 people gave us a like. That is super grown.
You suck. All of you suck.
Yes. No. Except 2.
2 of you are great. The rest of you.
No, please
Think
give
on
us a
your
like.
six, yeah.
Do it now. Oh, okay. There,
Thank
here
you.
it comes.
There's
Another
one.
like.
That's
Okay,
good. This is
thank
good.
you very much. So next meeting.
4 likes. This is good.
Woo, woo, woo.
It's got to be.
Oh, come on, guys.
Come on, guys. If we can get to 4,000,
This is the mood. Come on. Give me more.
just press the little button. Go on. You know you want to like it. Yeah.
If you give me one more like, he takes the shirt off.
Suddenly it goes 3, 2, 1. I'm taking my like back.
Okay.
So anyway, so yes, just to conclude,
Yeah.
please do take a photo of yourself for the Instagram. You can either post a photo on your feed, like a normal post, or do a story. As long as you at Madrid Daracot, we can put you into the lottery, the sorteo, for the Magnum of Pinot Noir. Show them the
Yes.
bottle again. Anyone new? If anyone wants to win this
Huge
wine,
thing.
if anyone wants to win this, make a post tagging us on your Instagram.
By the way, I have Rafa Gandia from Hispano Suizas, and we tried this wine.
It's really good.
And it's really good.
The other day, one of our neighbours was having a birthday, Johnny, having his little birthday, and 2 of his friends came in and were like, "We're too early. Can we buy him some wine?" Yeah, of course. And I said, I'm being nice. "Do you want to have a little glass of wine?" And I gave them the Pinot Noir, and they were both like,
It is really good.
and they were like, "Do you have this to sell?" I was like, "Oh, we will.
We will.
Really elegant, yeah.
Yes. What else? This week is gonna be very busy. We have to announce that will be by the middle of the week. Probably for the next tasting. We
It's
will.
the most weirdly shaped, weird and wonderful box we've ever done.
It's gonna be a nightmare to ship that box,
It's
but
gonna be awful. We're gonna have a terrible couple of weeks.
but it's great. We are working hard for having an excellent pre-Christmas
Breakdown.
Yes.
And even though maybe it's a bit early, and perhaps it's not related to this, and this will age badly, but we will also be trying to be part of various wine fiestas that are coming up. So there's a wine called El Primero, which is like the Beaujolais Nouveau. We will be part of this. We will also do
a Sherry Week.
a Sherry Week thing, for example. So stay tuned for some other videos coming out.
A lot of things
as well.
this week.
5
likes. Take the shirt off.
Oh, Jesus.
Please. Okay.
I'm nervous now. I look like Pamela Anderson with a hairy chest. All right.
Well,
Have
cheers.
a lovely Sunday, everyone. Salud.